All right, how's everyone doing today? Can you hear me?
Good afternoon. Doing great. How are you?
Excellent, Kathy. How are you today?
Doing fine.
Excellent, excellent, cool.
Hey, Sam, happy Monday.
Hey, Marianne, happy Monday.
Thank you.
Hey, Sam.
I'm surprised I have not got nearly as many. May the 4th be with you today. Not as many as I thought I would.
Hey, Sam.
Hey, Parna, how are you?
Doing good. How are you?
Excellent, excellent. Cool, we got Lewis online as well. I'm just gonna quickly go through this YouTube, or not the YouTube, the Zoom link out real quick. See if we can get some more folks in here. Right. Copy URL. Let me get this up on the GLG and we'll get started.
Love the dinosaur in the background.
Thank you, thank you. I made it, get this, in command.
There you go.
Made it in command, all right. Let's go to the Facebooks, we'll be good to go. All right. All right, so how many of you are signed up for Bold?
I am.
You are? Excellent. All right, let's go ahead and get started. I got this posted in the GLG and let's rock and roll. All right, so let me share my screen. Sorry, I'm a couple minutes behind, a couple seconds behind. I just had somebody out servicing my air conditioner, and I'm glad that's something that we realized was broken now versus in the summertime when it's about 10 times hotter. So we're good. Cool. All right, rocking and rolling. All right, y'all can see my screen. You can see command up. Is that right? I'll take a head nod. Okay. All right, cool. Thanks. Thanks, Kathy. Kathy, you're giving me my head nod. I'll use that. Okay. All right. So today's class is, I don't want to say basic training. We're going to try and go a little bit more in depth than versus, walking you through tool by tool, step by step. But I want to show you some of the things that you can be doing today to get see if you're signed up for Bold. So who said they're signed up for Bold? We had Kathy. I know I had a chat message in here. See who else we got. Marianne signed up.
I'm
cool.
signed up.
Excellent. Marianne signed up. Aparna, Lewis, you got to sign up for Bold. I'm telling you, we got 31,000 agents who are now signed up for Bold. That's a new number from this afternoon. So I'm just going to say that's where the cool kids will be hanging out for the next 4 weeks. So you definitely want to join that group. And
Chat North is number five right now. But watch out.
Yeah, Chat North. What, 100 and do we
155 as of earlier.
155. 155 agents from Chat North alone will be in Bold. So you want to take advantage of that. You definitely want to jump on and get there. And to be honest with you really don't have much to lose. It's $99. So the cost isn't that bad to begin with. And if you get a deal from Bold, that will be paid back to you at closing of one of your deals. So the whole design and the purpose of this whole Bold pivot is that you will get deals in the next 90 days. That's the whole reason why Keller Williams kind of quickly put this programming together so that we can get deals right now during a shift. So take advantage of that. I would say that an opportunity like this probably comes around once in a lifetime. I don't know that we're going to have a pandemic and a shift like this in which our leaders will revamp their tools. So great opportunity. Don't waste it. All right. Off of my soapbox about Bold. Let's jump into command. So today's class and the classes probably for the next 4 weeks with the GLG will be based around Bold. So instead of us just being background noise, teaching things that would otherwise be a distraction, we're going to be kind of stacking what we learn in Bold. So my goal for my classes, I'm going to be teaching them Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I'm going to do a follow-up from the technology pieces that we talk about in Bold that week. Now, the fun thing is that you guys may think that I'm really cool and then I have some higher up connections at Keller Williams. Unfortunately, not the way you think. So I don't know what I'll be teaching this week. I'm going to be in Bold with all of you. And then as I learn, you know, what we're talking about in bold, I'll be teaching that to you guys at a higher level post class. So that's kind of my training in a nutshell. Now, to get you ready, who has taken bold before? As in this won't be their first time. All right, Kathy, how many times have you taken bold?
2 times.
2 times, okay. All right, Marianne, how about you?
This will be my third.
Your third, excellent. Okay. Anyone else taking bold in the room? Okay. All right, so that's your answer. You should. I'm going to just keep making that plug. So there are some things that we do in the bold room that get us activity that we don't typically do outside of that. So if you're new to bold, one of the biggest pieces that often gets agent businesses or gets agents business as well as probably scares agents out of bold is the fact that you're expected to make 20 phone calls a day. Now that's 20 contacts to your database. They've been pretty lenient in the second version of bold 2.0 that kind of launched last year, in which text messaging counts as a contact. So that's something that didn't usually track within bold, where I think we're allowing it now as long as we have a 2-way conversation. So you can make your phone calls, you can make your texts, you can even reach out to people and message them on social media. As long as you're having a conversation about real estate, they're calling that a contact. So in bold, the goal here is we want to make 20 contacts a day, which I don't know if any of you are math majors, but that rounds up to about 100 contacts a week. Now, what I love about that activity is that if I were to tell all of you in your business that the most important thing you can do today is go out there and make 100 contacts a week, how many of you would do it? That number is intimidating, right? It scares me. 100 contacts, like I wouldn't even know where to begin. Like I don't even know 100 people, right? But when you say, hey, I can win the day by just calling 20 people, it becomes a lot more digestible. And then when you have a team surrounding you, like we do in the bold atmosphere, you have everyone who's, you know, agreed to play all in, giving it their 100%. You don't want to fail your team down. You don't want to fail your market center down. So everyone commits to that 20 each day. It's an amazing thing as we get results from it, and we'll track that. Now, the tricky thing is that I'd say that most of us after bold stop doing those 20 contacts daily. And that's why you need to take bold 3 times, 4 times. Kathy, how many times have you taken bold?
2 times before.
Two times? Okay. And this will be I've taken it 3. This will be like my 4th or 3rd and a half, whatever we're going to call it. So it's going to be good to get that refresher course as we all need it. So let me jump in. So now that you have an idea of like what bold is about, let me show you the things that are going to be really, really important to have a successful bold experience. Okay. So the first thing is, I'm sorry.
Could you not leave that screen just yet and take a quick look at chat, please?
Chat. Okay. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. So Marianne is asking a question that, okay, we have this banner up here at the top that says your all new KW app is here. Follow this guide to customize and brand your business. So this is kind of new. This got an update probably 3 days ago. I would say that this surprised me in a class. What this guide does, if you walk through step by step, it helps you customize your consumer experience. So Marianne, I think you've said in my classes, you're aware that we have like these guides within Command for both buyers and sellers.
Yeah, and the confusing part is that it's saying the KW app, but Kelly's being weird too. So is this the KW consumer app?
Yeah. So
Kelly update.
Anytime you see this word explore Kelly guide, they kind of take things that are otherwise complicated, like creating your website, and then like in this instance, updating your guide. They've taken them and made them to like a little smaller like wizard. So I did this the other day. When you go through this, it just kind of dummies down the guide experience. So when you come in here, you click get started, you click next, you go through here, and it helps you create this landing page. So you can change the text out. I'm going to jump ahead real quick. And then it lets you swap out those custom guides as well. So we have those buyer and seller guides. You can come in here and change them. So there's a way to do this in Command without the guide. This just is making it easier. It's a little bit more robust, but this feature is built into this. Were you in that class, Marianne, where I did this? It was like at the beginning of the pandemic.
Yeah, I was just going to say, yeah, we've already done this and had already gone in and fixed all this.
Yeah.
Which is what the question. I within the past 45 minutes, I went into Command, Kelly, and the whole bit, and I just wasn't sure if this was happening across the board, or if I was just the lucky one having it happen to me.
No. So this is kind of Keller Williams' idea of making it easier for everybody. So if you didn't have a me in your market center, if you didn't have someone training you on how to do the actual guides within Command, they'll release these like widgets occasionally to make things easier for you. But no, if you've already done this, then you're good. Yeah, thanks for that, Marianne. Does that answer everything though?
Thank you.
Cool. All right. And we're going to get in the app a little bit later too, for those of you who don't know how to access yours and need some more help promoting it, because I can guarantee that I'll come up in bold at some point too. All right. So I'm going to zip through this first part. There's some important things that you want to get created today. So in order to have a good foundation, it's good to have good branding, right? You want to make sure that you have all signs from a marketing standpoint pointing back to you as an agent. So I like to take the very first action within Command is getting your marketing profile correct. So making sure that, hey, if I'm going to advertise, if we're going to post myself out there to the world, I want to make sure my contact information is legitimate. I want to make sure that all of my broker information is accurate, so I'm not getting sued or thrown in realtor jail right out of the gate. I want to make sure that I have all my ducks in a row from a profile standpoint before I go out and promoting myself. Now that could be like, I don't know, the high, was it the C on the disc profile in me, that I like to get some of that stuff done first. But I'd rather get my profile ready before I go out to the masses. So the first thing you're going to do when you get into Command is just click on your name in the top right-hand corner and then go to Settings. So we're going to get your settings squared away today. All right. Now, when you're in settings, I've kind of complained about this, but apparently, no one likes a complainer. I'm looking for what we call the marketing profile, and it's kind of somewhat hard to find if you don't know where to look. But if you click on Connect Settings over here on the left-hand side, so you have General, Command, and Connect Settings. If you click on Connect Settings, this is where your marketing profile is. So I'm gonna click on this, and this feeds pretty much everything within Command. So when we talk about the new consumer experience, like your new mobile app and your new Command websites, everything feeds from this marketing profile, including a lot of your designs and your social media. So the first step is coming in here and just making sure that your information is accurate. Now I'm going to point out some things that I've seen agents make some common mistakes with, so that you don't get stuck in that same boat. So the first thing you do is upload a photo. So this is ideally where you're going to put your headshot. My recommendation here is, I know that most headshot images that you receive from your photographer are more of like a portrait. They're more of like a nice rectangular shape. Unfortunately, everything in Command likes to be in a very uncomfortable square. So you want to make sure that you re-image your headshot to be more of a square shape for it to work well in Command. Now, they recommend in here that it be 360 by 360 pixels. It doesn't have to be that small, but as long as you have it in a nice square shape, that will be good enough for it to work in Command. The key thing that really does make a difference, though, is that it has to be under a megabyte. So that's a pretty large photo. You need it to be smaller than a megabyte. So if you're taking the image that you got directly from your photographer and putting it in here, that's going to be too large. But if you were to go open up your Facebook business page and re-download it from there, that's typically small enough. If you need help resizing your image, I recommend going to either canva.com, C-A-N-V-A. You may need to sign up with a profile in order to do that. Or the free one, which I always recommend, is Pick Resize, P-I-C-R-E-S-I-Z-E, pickresize.com. In fact, you can just go ahead and put like you need the dimensions to be 360 by 360. You can even crop it to be a square. It works pretty well. Those are the two that I recommend. And if you get really, really stuck, just let me know. I can help you. The next thing on here is your team logo. Now, a team logo is meant specifically for teams. So if your team that you belong to has a logo, or if you're a rainmaker, you're going to put your branding in here. If you are an individual agent, like, you know, I don't belong to a team, but I threw the labs logo in here. This is one that I use. I could replace this with the GLG, you know, whatever. But you want to put your own branding inside the team logo. Now, it's okay to leave this blank. So if you don't have your own logo, or if you don't belong to a team, just leave this blank. You don't need to use it. It won't hinder anything on your website. What I can tell you not to do, though, is do not accidentally put in your Keller Williams Market Center logo. That'll look really, really weird when this goes to the website because it's already built in. So you don't want to have like the KW Market Center kind of thrown up all over your website and your branding. You don't want to do that. So just only put your logo, your team logo, or nothing in this spot. Okay. And again, I hate to be redundant and seem like these are simple things, but this is one of the most common mistakes I see within the marketing profile. Then from here, it's kind of filling out your information. This is best done by you. So you know your name, you know your license number, your team name, your professional job title, your designations. If you're not sure what your designations are, that should be realtor for every single one of you. Put that in there. And then for the bio, it's very, very important that you have a bio here. And if you do not have one, inside this box, you need to at least type licensed real estate professional at, you know, Keller Williams Chattahoochee North, or, you know, Keller Williams whatever. Put something in this box, because this page right here, this little box, will fill the About Me page for your website later. It pulls directly from here. So if you leave this blank, your website will be broken, and this will create a problem for you later. Just type something in here for now if you don't have a bio. Now, if you don't have a bio, there's two options to take. You can go to a website called Fiverr.com. That's Fiverr. It's like the number 5 spelled out with 2 R's, Fiverr. And then you can search for somebody to write a professional bio for you. Now, I've done this before. It cost me about $10, but I was very, very pleased with it. Basically, you give a questionnaire, or you answer a questionnaire to you know, some really nice lady in Eastern Europe, and she'll write you a professional bio based on your answers. And I had a good response with it. It's great. It's cheap, and nobody likes to brag about themselves. So got the job done. That's option number 1. Option number 2 is what I call R&D, which stands for rip off and duplicate. So we have 180,000 Keller Williams agents. I just went into kwconnect.com, which is like, you know, where we can find other Keller Williams agents. Found somebody that I admire, and I stole her biography, just rewritten it with the details about me versus her. Now, I am so confident in telling you that I ripped off and duplicated this, that we have 180,000 agents. I have a $100 challenge that if you can ever find the agent that I ripped this off from, I will gladly give you $100, because I can tell you that no one's going to know that you did that. But if you find that immoral or doesn't sit right with you, use Fiverr and pay somebody the nice way. All right. Moving along with your bio. Your telephone numbers. This is a really, really silly detail, but it creates all kinds of problems. When you put your telephone numbers in for both mobile and office, leave it like mine. No special characters, no hyphens, no dashes, no anything. Just put in the 10 digits here. They will be auto-populated when they hit your website and when they hit the app later, that it often breaks if you put anything else in there. So just put the 10 digits, nothing else. Okay. Email, that's your email. And again, this doesn't have to be your @Keller Williams. So if you have your own vanity one for your team name, or if you use something other than your KW email address professionally, you can put whatever you want in here. And then same thing with your website. Use whatever website that you have. Now, what I highly recommend is that in here, I have a Vanity URL. This is one that I bought from GoDaddy. I highly recommend that every single person in this room and every business owner goes out and buys their own domain name from GoDaddy. And for those of you who have been with Keller Williams, you've known that like our websites have changed hands several times. We've had Market Leader do them. We've had eEdge do them. We've now had Placer do them. They're now done by command. And then every time that change happens, we have to rebrand ourselves with a new email address. And it's usually the same thing, like, or not email, with a new domain name. It usually goes from like samjackson.kwrealty.com to samjackson.kw.com to samjackson.whatever.kw.com. Those things change. And then every time that happens, it's not in my control. I have to go in and change my marketing and new business cards and all other stuff. Now, if I just buy my own domain, like if I were to buy samjackson.com, doesn't matter what changes on the back end. I control what goes on my marketing. I just have to make that update in GoDaddy, and I can forward it to wherever. Now, to prove a point, how this works, you can literally buy a domain and have it forward anywhere. So if you go to incommandwithsam.com, I'm not forwarding it to a website I own. That's literally pointing it to my YouTube channel. I don't own YouTube. I wouldn't be teaching this class for the rate that I make if I own YouTube. No offense. But I can point it to wherever I need to. So just if you don't already, go buy your own domain name. I'd highly recommend buying your name versus going after something keyword driven. Your clients know you by name. It's gonna be the easiest thing to promote. Unless your name is Sam Jackson and there's somebody famous that shares the same name as you, then get creative. Cool? Clear on that one? Right on. All right. Next is your Market Center and Brokerage logo. Does everyone have their logo or need help on finding this? Because every single office has their own Market Center logo where it says North Atlanta, Chatton North, and then I always forget what's Roswell, Community Partners, Community something, Realty Consultants, something like that. There's isn't Keller Williams Roswell. But to get your Keller Williams logo specifically for your Market Center, in a new tab, go to kwconnect.com. kwconnect.com. And then click on the button at the top that says Resources. And you have to make sure that you're logged in. If you're not logged in, this won't work. But go to Resources. And then scroll on down to Marketing. And then you don't even have to move your mouse, because when you're on Marketing, we're going to click on Logos and Branding. And then that'll take you to this page here, which is pretty cool. If you want more information about the KW marketing on like how to, do certain color schemes and some other cool stuff, you can download this style guide. But for now, we're just going to scroll on down. There's a search bar right here underneath the Keller Williams Premier Properties page. In the search bar, you can just type in Roswell. Don't do that because it's not called Roswell. It's Realty Partners, Consultants. Is there anyone on the call that's from Roswell? There you go, Realty Consultants. Their number is 367. I know that one. Okay.
Let's see, if you know the Market Center number, that'll also come up.
Right. So 367 is Roswell. Chat North is 315. Yep. Okay. So you can type in 315 or Chat North. And then North Atlanta is North Atlanta or 181. And thank you for that, Marianne. If you know the number, type it in, because what's really confusing, especially if you're with North Atlanta, even though you typed it right, you'll get results for Atlanta North because the same keywords are in my search bar. So that can be confusing. Make sure that you put in the Market Center number. Cool. Now, when you do that, you're going to click the download button. And this is going to download a huge zip file full of all of your logos. It's important to download this here and then save it on your computer. And before you jump back into Command, I highly encourage that you take that folder that you just got and you have to unzip it. So I unzip it just by opening it up. So I click on that logo, and I apologize that jumped to a different screen. Let me grab it, move it over. So then that gave me this 181 North Atlanta file. I just open it up, and then I'd recommend probably moving these somewhere else other than your downloads folder. Save these locally because it's a pretty large file. You don't want to have to download this too many times on your computer. That'll take up a lot of space. The other thing I'd recommend doing here is renaming these. So CMYK on your computer, I would just rename this to print. And then RGB, I would rename to web. Now, the way this works is that even though we're using the same Keller Williams gray, the same Keller Williams reds, things look different on a computer screen versus what they look like when you print them out on a piece of paper. So even though it's the same color, it has a different color code for when it's online versus when it's print physically. So CMYK, I would rename it to print. That way you know that anytime I'm creating something, whether it's a business card or a flyer that I'm going to put inside a new listing, I want to use my logo specifically from the CMYK folder because I know it will print with the right color. Same thing with online. It's a different view. So whenever I do something on social media or if I'm doing something online, I'm going to use the web version of that logo. Okay. Now, unfortunately, black and white, there's not a whole lot that you need to know because black and white is black and white, black and white. Doesn't matter if you're in the web or the print. There's nothing there that can be really off because it's either really, really dark or it's not. So you can leave that one as is. And then PMS, just go ahead and delete that folder, move it to your trash. PMS stands for the Pantone Matching System, which is a fancy way of saying that if you were to go paint a Keller Williams logo on your wall at home, that would be the logo that you would use in like a true physical life, not just a piece of paper, but on your wall or something like that. If you're to get like paint made at Sherwin-Williams. If you get your Keller Williams logo on at Sherwin-Williams, use PMS, but for the most part, y'all ain't doing that. So just delete it and then save these locally. Cool. Now when you have them, I'm going to go back into command and I'm going to upload the brokerage logo. So I'm going to click on upload, grab this. Now, the way this works, I'd highly recommend, if you didn't already, rename it to web. And I threw that on my desktop, threw it to web. I'm going to grab my web logo. And what I'd recommend is that you can see here on my computer, it will let me upload the PNG, the JPEG, and the other PNG. I would highly recommend using a PNG online, or pretty much a PNG all the time, because a PNG file, and hopefully you can see this, I'm talking about like this right here, PNG versus JPEG. A PNG gives you that transparent background, so there's nothing behind you. Where if you use this JPEG, that's why you see that white box around a logo or around an image on a computer. So if you stop using JPEGs and you use this PNG file, that will eliminate that weird, awkward box around everything. Okay? So in command, I would upload your PNG file. Cool. We good with that? You guys just got a little bit of a marketing sidebar there.
Hey, Sam, on
Yes.
that, the PNG, is that for print or website? Is
Yes.
PNGs always better than the JPEG?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, well, yes. Let me add to that a little bit. When you're printing something, like when you're physically done printing something, like let's just say you created something in Designs and you're done, save it as a PDF. You want to print it as a PDF, but when you're putting the logo on the piece of paper, a PNG is better. Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, you got it. It's all pretty complicated, all that stuff. They never make it easy, but yeah. Cool. All right, so back in command then. This is pretty simple. You're going to put in your brokerage name. This will help you stay compliant. This is one of the things that I love about Designs within command is that it pulls from here as well. So I don't have to ever worry about being out of compliance when it comes to doing something in command because it takes it from here and puts it into my Designs pretty much for me already. So my brokerage name is here. The telephone number is there. The address is there. I should never get in trouble. The Market Center brokerage license number, I don't believe that it's required for us to put it in. However, if you know it, go ahead and throw it in. I know that 36119 is North Atlanta. I believe 45525 is Roswell. Can anyone confirm? Or is that Chat North?
Chat North.
Oh, Chat North. Okay. Man, I'm just poo-pooing on Roswell today. I don't know any of their information. I don't know what theirs is. I used to, but my computer didn't auto-save it. All right. But if you have it, throw it in. All right. Another silly important thing is your legal footer text. So forever, if you've sat in my class, I've recommended putting each office as independently owned and operated. That's the franchise statement that we have to have within Keller Williams. After talking to the brokers, I would now also recommend put the name of your office and the office telephone number as well. It's one thing to not get in trouble by Gary Keller and the groups at International for not having each office as independently owned and operated. It's a bigger deal to get turned in by a local real estate agent for not having your office name and telephone number in here. That's more likely the case you'll get in trouble. So throw this in. You have to put something in here, otherwise it'll break everything. So make sure you put something. Cool. All right. Legal footer link, you can skip this for Georgia. This is one of those things that was built for all of the states and all of the countries at Keller Williams. In theory, if you wanted to do something like upload the consumer notice and have that file actually there, you could. But for me, I'd like to have less noise on my website and all of my signatures and legal information. I leave that blank, but that's the purpose of adding a link here. All right. And then moving along, plugging in your social media. So this is the spot where we can take your Facebook business page, your Twitter handle, your Instagram, and tying it into your marketing. Now, what I'd share here is only put in what you're going to use. If you're not big on Instagram, if you don't use Twitter, feel free to just leave it blank. Or do what I did. I just piggybacked off of Keller Williams International. I don't want my Twitter handle to be known because, like, personally, I feel like Twitter is probably the most political out of all of the social medias. And it's also the easiest to probably figure out which way a person steers politically. Not that there's a right or wrong, but I think that there's a very easy way to not get a listing appointment if somebody were to look you up on Twitter. Therefore, I just use Keller Williams International. I just put in, KWRIs instead of mine. You could do that with Facebook. You could do that for Instagram. I happen to have a YouTube channel. Most agents don't. So that would be a good spot to put in KW's YouTube channel. Cool. Any questions on this? Y'all know how to go get your links? Okay. The one thing that I'd be very, very mindful of is that Facebook could be very, very tricky. When I go to Facebook and go to my page, let me see, you don't have it in the shortcuts. I don't. So I'm going to click on my pages, and I have a lot of pages.
Nice Mother's Day gift, Sam.
What's that?
That's a nice Mother's Day gift.
Oh, what was it? I didn't see. What I missed, Marion? I wasn't paying attention to the page.
That's okay. You'll have to look later. It's a watch.
Oh yeah, I knew. Okay, I knew that. I didn't know she posted that.
She just did.
Cool. So I want to go to my pages, and I think for this one I'm using my In Command with Sam page. When you click on your actual business page, this could be really, really tricky. So my link up here says facebook.com/In Command with Sam, and then I have all of these numbers, which are specifically for me as an admin. You got to be careful not to include that because that will break someone's computer. They won't be able to get to where they need to. So you need to delete out the part that says, hey, this is you logging into that spot. So I just need to copy facebook.com/In Command with Sam, not all that extra stuff on the back end that is kind of for me to use. So then you just copy and paste that back into Command. Cool.
Good reminder, Sam. Thanks.
Yeah, that happens. I made that mistake a couple times. I'm going to grab water real quick. Excuse me for 1 second.
Same thing with the Twitter idea.
All right. Yeah, when in doubt, just use KWs. That's the benefit of piggybacking off of a really awesome organization. Cool. All right, so moving on, we have the ability to put in and track what we call your Facebook pixel and your Google Analytics ID. So what those key metrics do is it allows you to actually track the people and the clicks and the view rates on each of those websites. So how many people are actually on your Facebook page and how many people are actually on your website and using your Google words. That's something that I can probably teach a full class on, or I'll do a video on. You kind of have to hunt those down within each of your own individual pages to get to them, but just know they're there. I don't spend a lot of time on this because most agents don't even know what those are. And I don't want to educate you on what those are right now. But just know that if you get to the point that it's really important to track all of your analytics, like if you have a custom website and some other things, you can put those into Command and track that info. But it helps you tell, like they help you tell you like your lead source and things like that, like how many people are coming from Google to your website, or you know where they're coming from, things like that. Facebook, yada yada. And the last thing here is your branded KW app link. Now, if you know it, go ahead and put it in. This is a little bit premature because not everyone knows where their app link is. I'll show you that by the end of class. So you have to save this and come back and put that in. But the very last thing on here is your app link, which I'll show you how to get. And then once you're done, take a big breath and click save. You should be good to go. Good, everything's saved. I didn't really update anything. All right. Now from here, if you're doing this for the first time, once you've clicked save, don't do this prematurely, but once you've clicked save, when you're back at the top, click this bubble that says use my information to brand my agent website. This will brand both your page and your app. So it took all this information from your marketing profile and gave the permissions to Keller Williams to use that for your website and your app. So the good news is that when I go in to create my website, all of it's fed from here. I don't have to re-enter all of this information all over again. Now, I'm just gonna say it one more time, it's super important. Do not do this halfway through. Make sure that you complete this profile and then click save before you click that bubble. Otherwise, you're gonna probably have to redo the whole thing. Cool. Any questions with the marketing profile? All right, good. That's going to be the hardest thing we do from here today. So that's a good win for everybody. All right. The next thing that we're going to need to get set up for Bold in preparation is just getting your integration set up. So again, I'm going into this new Bold pivot, kind of not sure what to expect. I know it's going to be very heavy on our business. They're definitely going to tie in a lot of command. I just don't know what specifically. So I'm going to get you armed pretty much with overkill, and we'll see if we need it or not. So we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna click on your name in the top right-hand corner, and we're gonna go to settings. We just wanna go basically back a page. And click on your name, and then go to settings. That'll take us to our applications and our connected apps. So you'll see a long list of different apps and integrations that we have that work well with KW Command. So I want to get you set up with the majority of them that I know work and the ones that we'll need for Bold. So one of the tricky things is that when I teach this class, I've already connected most of them. And once I do that, I can't show you how to do it from like the first time. But when you first connect all of your apps, you'll see that there's a tier here that says connected apps. These are all of them that are already connected. I know they're working because they appear underneath this category. So you may have to scroll to find Docusign. You may have to scroll Facebook. Your order might be different from mine. But essentially, you just want to kind of zip through here and find the ones that you need to connect. Now, what I'd highly recommend is we're probably in Bold going to talk about Facebook. We're probably going to do Facebook ads at some point, or it's going to be brought up. So you'll want to connect Facebook. Now, the way this works, and it's a little bit weird, is that there are two separate places that you can connect Facebook. You can see right here from this one that's connected, it says Facebook, and then specifically it says post scheduling. This is the free way to do Facebook within Command. If you keep on scrolling, there is another place within Command that says Facebook Ads Manager. This is the one that lets you actually create ads that you're hearing a lot of agents use within our market centers. They're getting leads for like, I don't know, 50 cents a pop right now. What's kind of weird is that Facebook, even though you have one login, they give you like different versions of your profile. So I'm signed in. I'm signed in as Sam Jackson. I never signed in as a page. That could be a little bit weird when you go to connect it. It's going to look like it's going to go to your personal page. It will not. Nothing you do in Command will go to your personal page. It will either go to your business page or it will go out as an ad in which it won't hit your business page either. But Facebook sees that as three separate profiles. They look at you, the person, they look at you, the business page, and they look at you as the advertiser. So just know like that's kind of what we're connecting. All of it looks like it's connecting your profile, but it's really not. But you want to connect both of those. Another one that's really, really important would be connecting your Google apps. So that would be your Google Calendar. That would be connecting your Gmail account. And then if you have Google AdWords, set that up as well. It's a separate third-party thing within Google. You just have to go to Google and search Google AdWords, sign in with whatever account, and that'll get you the ability to start doing Google ads within Command. Now, the tricky thing with Google AdWords, if you're going to do this, sign in and sign up with your personal email address. Do not sign up with your @KW, that will break it. As far as Gmail and Google Calendar goes, that's perfectly fine. Go ahead and do that with your @KW or whatever you're using. So if you're not using your Keller Williams email address to manage your calendar or your email, just connect whatever Google accounts that you have. And if by chance that you're one of those people that do not use Google, there is an Office 365 connection that you can come in here and plug in Outlook as well. So just scroll on down to Office 365 and connect that account. I'm not a 365 user, so mine's not here. But basically, the way all of these work is it's going to ask you to sign in. Okay.
Sam, I was
Hey, Joe.
connecting my Google account. How you doing? And while I was doing it, I heard you say, be sure not to check one of your Google accounts with your Keller Williams address. Which was that?
Google AdWords.
Okay.
Yeah, it's this icon right here.
Don't
For whatever
connect it
reason,
at all, or don't connect it without a Gmail account. I mean, with a Keller Williams account.
yeah, so in order for Google AdWords, just the AdWords, the other ones are fine. You can only do this with a personal Gmail account. You cannot do it with like what we call like an enterprise account, which is like your KW one. It won't let you advertise.
If we have one, do we need to do it? Something you recommend us doing?
Only if you're going to advertise on Google, which I'll be honest with you, there's a lot of agents that have seen the success with Facebook ads at this point and have now asked me, Sam, like, what do we do now? I love, like, personally as a marketer, I love Google AdWords. It doesn't give you the quantity of leads like you get with Facebook, but you get better quality. You get people who might be more likely to buy or sell with you sooner. But yeah, that one needs a personal account. The other ones are fine. A couple other things in here. Docusign is a little bit more in depth. This requires actually creating a Docusign account. If you don't have one, what you're going to do is sign up with Docusign, and not to confuse you, Joe. Docusign has to be signed up with an @KW email address or it won't work. That's their way of knowing that you're going to plug this into command or not. But most of these, it's just like either logging in, signing in, or signing up when you click your connect account. But these are going to be the most important ones here. Let's see
Sam.
what else.
Sam,
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
got a quick question. I was doing something else when you went to this page. How did you get to this page?
Yep. So I clicked on my name in the top right-hand corner, and then went to settings.
Okay. I'm there. And then
Yep. So
Connect
click on your
settings.
name and then settings, and that'll take you through this laundry list of applications that work with
I
command.
went to connect settings and I only see marketing profile. Oh,
Yep.
it's
Yeah,
under-
so click on your name and then just go to normal settings up here. Yep. You good, Lewis?
Yep.
Right on. Okay. The last one that we want to connect, if you scroll all the way down on your list here, excuse me, next to last, we're going to do one more here. The next to last one is command mail or command email. You want to connect this account. So looks like I got disconnected somehow. But when you connect command email, it's just going to ask you, okay, when we send an email from the system, how do you want to come across? So I want to come by as my name, and then I want the reply email to be sam.jackson@KW. Now, if you don't use your @KellerWilliams email address, that is okay. As you can see from the drop-down menu, it's letting me use all of the email addresses associated with my Keller Williams profile, and I can also add a custom email. So if you're using, a Vanity URL that you bought on GoDaddy or somewhere else, you can always type that in as well. Okay. Once you're done with that, click the Save Changes button right here. And if you are very, very heavy on email, there is the ability to update your subscription. So through command email, every single agent at Keller Williams gets 5,000 emails for free per month. Now, if you have a huge database with 16,000 people, 5,000 a month is not going to cut it. There is the ability for you to come down here to click on manage subscription, and you can buy more emails monthly if you need to, depending on the size and frequency of your emailing. Okay, but for the most part, I would say most agents aren't going to hit that $5,000 limit. You're okay to click Save Changes, and you're free to go. If you need more, click on Manage Subscriptions. It's going to open up the Keller Williams Marketplace, and I think it's relatively cheap. It's like $10 for every 5,000 emails. If I'm not mistaken. Email marketing, command mail. And then, yeah, so it's 10,000 emails for $9.99, 20,000 for $24. The more you use, the cheaper it gets. But yeah, if you're doing 50,000 emails a month, it's going to cost you $70 to do that through command, which I still think is cheaper. All of these rates are cheaper than like a Constant Contact or a MailChimp. Cool. All right. And then the last thing that I want to connect in command would be Twilio. So I can't remember where it's at here naturally because mine are all connected, but you want to connect Twilio. It's this one that's spelled this way here, Twilio. And it's the one that looks like a red button, like a red shirt button. Now, Twilio is not free. Everything that we've connected in here is pretty much free. Twilio is the company that does the text messaging part of command. So if your intention is to send text messages out to your database, whether that be via Smart Plan or if you tend to text people directly one-on-one, the way this account works is it costs $10 to secure your telephone number. So you'll get your own Twilio number. It is yours to keep. So if you were to leave Keller Williams and go to Remax, that is still your number that you paid for that you own. It's $1 a month just for them to service the account and them being Twilio. So it's going to cost you $12 a year. So it's a $22 investment to have Twilio. And then every time you text, it's a fraction of a penny per text. When I mean like a fraction of a penny, they tell you exactly what it is in Twilio, but it's like 0.00072 cents per text. So you can literally text message 100 people in your database. It costs you a penny. It's not expensive at all. It's just not free. And the way this works is that you'll put like, kind of like the toll roads. Like if any of you have like the Easy Pass or whatever it's called down here, you put $30 on your account and then it just chips away that $30. Then it asks you if you want to refill it once you get to a certain threshold. But basically like I've filled that up, I don't know, maybe twice since we've had it. And I've sent thousands of texts through the database, which is pretty cool. Every time I text the GLG, that's 1,100 agents right there. And it cost me like, I don't know, $1. So pretty cheap, pretty cool.
Where do those calls come to, Sam?
I'm sorry?
How do you receive those texts?
So you send them from here and then you get notified both in Kelly as a notification through Kelly on your phone. And then you get them through your notifications here as well in command. They also show up on the individual person. I'll show you that here in a second on that one. But yeah, it comes through the command system. So make sure that you have Kelly on your phone and make sure that you have all the notifications turned on for her. The last thing on Twilio, because we are turning this on and signing up through command and through Keller Williams, you'll be given a 512 area code number, which is Austin, Texas. That's where we're headquartered as Keller Williams. So what I recommend doing is reaching out to Twilio support, which is if you just go to the Google machine and do Twilio customer service number. If you contact them and just say, I'm with Keller Williams, I got a 512 number, I need to change that. They'll let you pick your area code, whether it's a 678, 770, 404, whatever. And then you can pick a new telephone number with them. The default that will be 512 most likely. Okay. But then that number is yours. Any questions on any of these applets? Okay. Now you will see that on my screen, I have Porch integrated, which you do not.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go ahead. Hi, Gemma.
I just did Twilio.
Okay.
And will they send me that phone number in an email or how will I get that?
Where did it take you? You just did that like right now?
Literally, as you were explaining it, I just did it.
Okay. Yeah, they should send you an email to your @KW account. But when you
Got
did it, you created a login? Okay. Oh, it came in?
I got it.
Okay.
Thank you. That's what
Okay.
I wanted to know.
Part of that sign up process too is you get a Twilio login. So you can log into the back end of Twilio.
Yeah.
I can actually demonstrate that. I believe my passwords are saved on this one. So you can log into Twilio. And I'll be honest with you, even as a tech guy, Twilio is pretty robust. We're only using it for text messages, but it can do all types of like robot things from like chats to managing your social media and all kinds of crazy stuff. It's pretty cool. So when you go into Twilio, and again, hopefully you'll never have to do this, but you can log into Twilio with the account that you create. You can click on the 3 dots over here on the left-hand side. This will take you to your phone numbers. And then it'll take you to your active telephone number. So I have a 678. This is my Twilio number that's through KW. It shows me the KW logo. And I went ahead, because I still have business and relations in Pittsburgh as well. I bought a local Pittsburgh number, which is 412. What's really, really great is I was able to buy a number that I could memorize. So I got 412-444-7799. Like, it's an easy one to remember. So you can set those numbers up. I don't think there was nearly the options available in Atlanta for a catchy, easy one, like, 3 4s and 7799. But yeah, this number is now mine. So if you call, text me, I get that. And apparently I have a reminder for something. But yeah, you can have more than one number too. Let me see here. It does tell you, I want to know that number. Billing in here or usage. It's crazy stupid how cheap it is. Yeah, that's my dollar charge for May. Yeah, not sure, but it's crazy. It tells you somewhere in here in the settings that it tells you, pricing, here we go. This might be it. Programmable SMS, outbound prices.
Sam, can you look at your April payment, April bills?
Yeah, I could do that. Payment or payment history. May I had nothing. I'm trying to think because I don't text that often. April, I didn't do it. I probably did in March was last. So that's when I refilled it. I just put $30 on my account there. It's probably under usage though. Usage, April 2020, $1.15. So the dollar was the charge, and then it cost me $0.15171 to text 1,100 agents.
That's sales tax.
Is it? Oh, thank you. Maybe I didn't do it that month. If I could read, that'd be great, Marianne. Thanks for catching me on that one. Why is my sales tax going up? Okay.
Because your amount of total went up from $2, $1 or whatever to
Yeah.
2.
When did I last text? It's been a while. $1.12.
That's
Maybe it only
weird.
cost me 12 cents then. So that month it may not itemize it because it looks like my normal charge is $1. Well, let's see if I expand on any of this.
Looks like we just have to investigate a bit more on our own.
Yeah, it's cheap though. I can tell you that. It's a fraction of a penny. I just don't know what it is. It's somewhere in here though. But just know it's not going to cost you much. And like I did, I just put $30 on there for a month and it chips away at it, including those monthly dollar fees too. Okay. Command. Here we go. Coming back to this though, you may or may not, you probably don't have Porch within your account. There are other what we call APIs, other apps essentially that play well within Command. And all of these companies have agreed to the data agreement with Keller Williams to be a part of it. But to access things like Porch and the other plugins, you can click on this Marketplace button up here in the top right next to the bell. The Marketplace takes you to the other cool apps that we're building and synchronizing in Command. So Porch, which is the one that I downloaded and use in my Command, what's really, really cool about Porch is that it lives within the opportunities tool within Command. So whenever I have an opportunity created, I can tap on the Porch button. I can upload my inspection report. And what it will do is it will give Porch permission to reach out to my buyers and sellers to look at the inspection report and then give quotes based on that report. Now, what's cool is like it's really, really quick. The turnaround time, I think, is like 36 or 48 hours. They give you local materials, local labor pricing for all of those deals. And what we found is you save your clients thousands of dollars in negotiation. So if you're a seller and your inspection came back and your buyer's asking for, $3,000 of, menial repairs, you can use Porch, which is a trusted third-party site, to say, okay, we know that, based on this punch list, it's only going to cost half of that. So here's the report that we have based on those materials. Let's negotiate better, or let's just agree to do those for you. So it gives you a little bit more firepower that you can save your clients money that way. But to connect that and everything else in here in the Porch, or not the Porch, the Marketplace, you can come in here and look at the categories and add them. So one of the things you may want to do is connect Dotloop if you haven't. That's another easy way to pull in all of your old loops. It's free. Porch is the one I plugged in. They're constantly adding more and more in here. So as you kind of go through, you can see them. But on the main page, you can see the features that they have. So it looks like Brandco is coming in, or is in now. There's a mileage tracker, so you can track your expenses with Hurdler. All kinds of cool things in here. So it looks like there's a way to back up all of your dot loops into Google Drive as well. So keep an eye on these. There's some cool features in here that if you've been a real estate agent for a number of years and you use dot loop and you're worried about backing up all of your files now that we're getting rid of dot loop, it may make sense to use API Nation to do that for you. But yeah,
Hey,
take a look at them. They're
Sam.
pretty cool. Yeah.
Quick question. If we go ahead and connect the Gmail accounts, like our calendar and email,
Yeah.
who gets to see any of that? Is that still private, or can KW see it on the back end, or?
Nope, still private. Still private. And to be honest with you, some of those things work now and some of those are for future benefit. So the calendar, obviously, doesn't do a whole lot just yet, but it'll give you the ability that says, like, all right, if you're going to schedule an appointment for a listing with someone, it will have like a mini calendar so you can pull it up right here on your computer versus going into your calendar separately. So it's just going to integrate, but it'll all be private.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. And the way the email works, that too, this had worked for a little while. They pulled it back. Anytime that I emailed somebody from the email that I logged in with, instead of going back and looking at my email record in Gmail, for an individual contact, it'll just tell me my conversation with them, which is cool too. I don't have to pull up 2 tabs of Gmail and my timeline. Cool. All right. So let's jump into this then. Everyone's clear on all of the apps, all of the settings, the things that you need to get rocking and rolling there.
Sam, I've got a quick question on.
Yes,
I
Louis.
have I'm trying to set up my Twitter account, and I had to change the handle on Twitter, and I go to connect account, and I bring up my old handle. And how do I change that? I don't see an editing function on that.
It should say manage. Are you talking about, Louis, are you talking about on the screen that I'm on right here, or the other one?
I am, yeah.
This one here? So
Well,
this is for the...
On Twitter, yeah.
This is for the ads manager. So you may only have one ads account, but that would be just by clicking on like the manage button and then swapping that out. I don't have an account connected. I don't have a Twitter thing there. Yeah, but you'd have to go in and do all that. Are you ever going to advertise on Twitter, Louis? Like actual pay money on advertisements on Twitter?
I do post on Twitter every week.
Okay. Okay. Yeah,
But-
that may make sense then. You just want to go through there and connect it or change it. I'm
But
not going to
I-
connect mine, but yeah, I can
If
work
I'm
with
on-
that with you afterwards.
Okay.
Cool. Rock and roll. All right. So once you have your marketing profile, you have your settings. Now is where we're going to get into like the nitty gritty part of things you're going to need to do to manage your business in Command. So one of the biggest things that we talk about in Bold is making your 20 phone calls and tracking them, right? So we're going to be able to log our interactions. Usually in Bold, you get a nice little binder and materials at the start of every class. And they usually give you like a really cool like tracking sheet so you can be on top of your 20 calls and you can share that with your teammates and everything else. The best way to do that now is in Command. We can actually log our interactions. We can keep track of that and we can see where we're at in relation to our goals. So the first thing we have to do is get contacts in Command. So if you don't know how to do that, I'm going to quickly show you how to put a contact in. I'm going to show you how to do that with a one manual upload, and then also how to bring in a bulk list of people as well. So I'm going to go ahead and click on contacts, which is the second icon, the first active tool. But this is your contacts. So if this is your first time using Command, or if this is a new territory for you, this may be completely blank. For me, I have 984 contacts in Command. I'm not bragging. That is literally all of you. This is all of the agents in the GLG, and I'm missing about 200. But to add a contact, you can come up here and click the Add Contact button, and you're going to type in the information for one person. Okay? So the way this works is you're going to put in their full name. Now, what I'd highly encourage doing here, and if you haven't heard me say this 1,000 times, I'll say it until forever, go informal with your database. I know that the end goal is that we want to be completely kosher, we want everything in alignment for when we get a deal with them. However, the likelihood of that happening tomorrow is very slim. Let's address that problem later. Go informal with your database. So if I'm constantly communicating, and I'll use the example that I was meeting with one of our top teams this morning, and she asked the question, okay, Sam, I ran a Facebook ad. I got, a dozen leads. I called them once. How often do I need to call them, or how many times do I need to contact them before I give up? And does anybody know how many times it takes to reach out to an internet lead before you convert them to just a conversation? How many attempts it can take? Gemma, you look like you might come off mute.
7?
Almost triple that. 20 to 24 times.
Wow.
It can take to reach out to an internet lead before they convert. Now, here's the thing. That's a huge, huge number if every day I'm picking up the phone and calling Gemma one-on-one. Now, the thing is we have technology to automate this for us. So we know people aren't picking up their phones, so we can text them, we can call them, and we can email them, right? Those are like the 3 ways we reach out. Let Command do the heavy lifting. Let them email and text for you. And the system can even remind you to make a phone call like every 4th attempt or whatever. So when we automate our communication, it's important that we go informal with our database. So for every Joseph or Samuel that I have in my database, if I hit them with the Joseph or a Samuel and they don't go by a Joseph or a Samuel, it's going to get really weird. I'm never going to connect with them. But if I say, hey, Joe, hey, Sam, this is your favorite realtor. Let me hit you with some information. They're more likely to respond because it seems like a one-to-one touch. Now, the cool thing is that we can run these smart plans to the dozen people we got, to the 50 people we got, to the whatever. It seems like a one-to-one touch, even though it's not. We put them in our system. We let the system do it for us. So go informal here. Make all of your Samuel Sams. Go informal. When we go into Docusign to actually get a deal with this person eventually, 7 to 10 years from now for some of us, then we'll correct it on the paperwork. Okay? So if you do not have anybody in your database today, put yourself in. Create you as the contact. It's going to be important to test things anyways on you. So what's important? We want to put your name, an email, and a telephone number in. That makes up for 60% of your database health score right there. You want to make sure you have that information in. If you belong to a team, or if you run a team, You'll mark if this belongs as a team lead or not underneath the ownership button. You can put in the lead routing or mark it to the sales pipeline. You want to create a custom tag. This is also 4% of the database health score. Now, I believe we're going to learn about this in the bold pivot. A custom tag is a way for you to maximize your efforts in your database. So one of the things that we may be talking about in bold is the DTD2 system, DTD2, which I believe stands for do the two daily or something like that. It's a way of pairing people's last names alphabetically so that we can call them systematically. So you'll see in here that I have a tag that says A and W. That basically the way that the DTD2 system works that we'll learn in bold is that I'm going to weekly call everybody with the last name begins with an A and a W. What's really cool about the alphabet is that it's 26 letters. And when you pair that together, that's 13 groups of A and W's, B and E's, whatever. And perfectly, 13 weeks fits into a quarter. So every week I'm going to call my DTD2, and then every quarter I'm resetting this play. So if you follow that system, you should at least make a phone call to your database 4 times a year. And we'll probably get into a lot more detail on that at bold. But so for this one, I don't know that I have the J one, but I believe it's something pretty cool here. I mean, I have it in. I'll get that uploaded, but you'd want to take their last name and put it into a tag. And this could also be personable. So if this is somebody that you know, this is a family member, you can type the tag as family. Or this is a buyer. You know, whatever, you can create these custom tags. My biker gang. Hell's Angles, not Hell's Angels. We do math. Create tags, mark it red, whatever. Go from there. Cool. Add more information. You can come in here. You can connect your spouses. You can do other addresses. I know it's going to come up in bold that we want to get their actual home addresses. It's really funny that we're all in real estate, and miraculously, very few agents actually know where their database lives. We don't really keep track of that for whatever strange reason. And technically, we do have the ability to go into the tax records. We can go into Matrix or the MLS and look this information up. I encourage you to call people. Just say, hey, Gemma, this is Sam Jackson, Keller Williams. I wanted to send you some really cool information about your neighborhood. Is it okay if I just get your address? I just happen to lost that. Sure, Sam. No big deal. The key thing is make sure that if you're going to ask for an address and you're going to promise to deliver something, deliver it. An easy thing would just be a cool flyer. You know, hey, Jim, I'll just send you some neighborhood stats. I forgot where you live. Or on a much greater scale to where it doesn't feel like you're spamming people with crap. Jim, I don't know you, but I took a lot of time to read some really cool books during this quarantine. There's this book I've been reading. I thought you would love it. Is it okay if I send you a copy? Here's the one thing. Here's the flip book. Here's the shift book. Here's one of the Keller Inc. books. That's a great way that you can tie real estate back in and give a giveaway. Just be careful with that. Some of those books can get expensive, but just chalk it up to marketing and lead generation. Okay? Those are some tactics to get some good addresses. But you'll want to put that information in there when you get it. Facebook profiles, you want to grab this information too. So just like we did with our business page, I want to go look up Gemma or whoever I'm putting in my database. Now what's cool is that I don't have to be friends with them. I can just go to Facebook and grab it. Kathy Berman, are we friends on Facebook?
I don't think so, Sam.
Okay, are you Kathy Hall Berman?
Yes.
Okay, so we will become friends on Facebook. I'll send you an ad. But I'm not friends with Kathy, and yet I can still click on Kathy's name, and I can come up here and I can grab her Facebook link. Okay? Now, the reason why I want to do this, oops, if I can copy. I want to copy this and paste this into like that person's Facebook profile. Because Facebook knows certain things about every person. It looks for certain keywords that indicates life change. So I'll use an example today. It finally came up for me. For those of you in the North Atlanta office, I'm friends with Tia and Patrick at the office. they just bought a house, right? And I wrote congratulations. Let me see if I can find it in my comment section here. Facebook looks for, okay, since I know Tia, watch this, I'm gonna delete this. I'm gonna write congratulations again. Let's just say that somebody on their Facebook wall shares something that's life-changing, like a new house or a baby or an engagement or something. When I type on Tia's wall to say congratulations, hold on, let me refresh the page. It may have remembered me. When I type in the word congratulations, you know, this never fails. Every time I try to demonstrate this, this doesn't work. All right, I dare you, if you haven't done this yet, go wish Tia and Patrick congratulations on their new house. And what happens is that instead of me typing this word in, it staying black, it will change orange. The word itself, congratulations, will turn orange. Now, Facebook, the way that they have this happen is that like balloons pop on your screen, they make it seem like it's a cool emotional thing, but really what's going on is Facebook is looking for these keywords that indicate some type of lifestyle change. So a lifestyle change would be somebody becoming a homeowner, right? Now, why would Facebook want to know who became a homeowner? Because then they're going to take that information and sell it to advertisers. Now, the great thing about being an advertiser is that anyone can do it, including small businesses. And I'm trying to think of who in this room probably owns a small business. All of you, all of us, right? So we're going to use this to our advantage. So there's a good chance that if you're friends with Tia, this post has 167 likes and 53 comments. You're probably going to see it if you're friends with Tia. However, let's just say that something happens in somebody's life that gets a congratulations, but it doesn't blow up to 167 likes. It could get buried in your timeline. You may never see it. I have 1,300 friends on Facebook. Not bragging, it's just a number. I scroll through my Facebook feed, I'll never see a friend. It is page after page after page of the content and the groups that I belong to in Facebook. I am scrolling and seeing ads and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and I'm only still seeing Keller Williams agents. I have 1,300 friends. Not all of them are Keller Williams agents, and yet Facebook pins me as a guy who only interacts with Keller Williams people on Facebook. So when it comes to my personal sphere, if I wanted to see these things like what's going on in my college friend's life, there's no way I'm going to see it naturally in my feed. I have to go like hunt them down and find it. So that's what we're doing. We're letting Kelly, our artificial intelligence, go look at that person's Facebook page for us. So it'll say, hey, based on life-changing indicators, like 1,000 people wrote congratulations for some reason on this person's page. There's a reason why you need to contact them, whether it's engagements, death, divorce, whatever. It's going to look at those words like, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, condolences, congratulations, and let you know when there's a lifestyle change. So you want to put that in there. That's crazy technology. Crazy.
Sam,
yes.
I have a question. How do I edit? Like, so now I have contacts in there, but I want to go, like I'm on that page and I don't know, it pulls up my contact, but I don't know how I edit
so,
it.
Yeah, so you put somebody in your page and then you're like, all right, so I didn't do this the first time. I need to go back and do that. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to create the contact. And I can't remember who I just created. I think it was me.
It's one that's already there, not.
Yeah. But let me just grab this A.G. Thompson.
Okay.
When I pull them up, when I click on this pencil symbol right here, it pulls up that same exact screen to do it.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
Got it. That's all. Thank you.
Yep. But that's pretty much it. Anyways, with adding a single contact, you want to be thorough with all this information. You want to put as much information as you know about them. You can link their spouses, things like that. Get that in there. And there's even a place to do custom fields. So if you're thinking about things like, all right, what would be the perfect closing gift for this person? They may not be buying from you for another 7 years, but yet you could put that in here right now that this person would like a bottle of Pinot or a gift card to whatever their favorite restaurant is. You can create these custom fields that you can put on your contacts. Okay. Any questions on that? Right on. Okay. Now, I know, well, I don't know, but I can guess that there's going to be probably some challenges to add a lot of people to your database all at once. I know that, you know, the goal here is that we want to be in relationship with as many people as possible and start communicating with them. So instead of doing it one-on-one, there is a way that you can mass import or bulk import all of your contacts at once. So if you're pulling them from like a Boomtown or like an eEdge or one of those sites, there's 2 ways that you can do this bulk import. Let me start with the way I don't recommend. So if you go back to your name and then click on settings, there is another app in here called PieSync that looks like this. It's just like a black P with a couple of arrows. So PieSync works as like a middleman. It can take your Google contacts, clean them up, make sure that all of the columns make sense, and then import them into Command. Now, this can be a little bit finicky. I don't recommend using PieSync. And the reason for that is that I've learned over my years at Keller Williams, just not in technology, but as a team leader, not every agent is using best practices when it comes to navigating and talking to their database. I would recommend that if you're going to move your database into Command, do it the right way for the first time. Stop your old bad habits in, you know, BombBomb or wherever, and do it the right way in Command. And what I mean by that is, like, separate your spouses. No more Sam and Krista as the first name, Jackson's the last name. Separate your spouses. Create everybody and treat everybody like a primary contact as they are. And the reason I say that is we are moving on to the next level of technology. This isn't just a database anymore. This is truly a platform. And what I mean by that is when I log into Amazon and my wife logs into Amazon and any of you log into Amazon, every single one of us is going to Amazon.com, and yet none of us are seeing the same Amazon.com. Same thing with Netflix, same thing with Facebook, same thing with all of the technology companies that we are modeling. Treat everybody like a primary contact. Because if you, I'm talking to you, if you were to log into Amazon and you got my version of Amazon, you'd be like, what the hell? Amazon doesn't understand me. Like, why is it buying this random stuff? Like, why is it promoting this random stuff? This is not a curated experience to me. Therefore, I'm going to go somewhere else. We're going to be creating that curated experience to each person in your database. It's your job to separate that data out. No more spouses being separate, combined as Sam and Krista first name, last name Jackson. Treat them like a primary contact every time, okay? So that's what I mean by bad business practices. We don't want to take that from top producer and then put it in Command. That doesn't do you any good. Take this time, like this is the time. In the middle of a pandemic, we had the chance to hit the refresh button on our businesses. Do it now. You may never get this chance again. Don't waste it. But you can use PieSync if you choose. You basically click the connect button, and there are, I think, 150 or 200 different places that you could be pulling from. So like Google Contacts. I don't know, like what are you guys using for CRMs if it's not Command?
MailChimp.
Yeah, MailChimp. I think that's in here somewhere. Yeah, MailChimp is right there. So you can connect MailChimp, and I'll just use this as an example. The screen works the same way. When I click on MailChimp, it's going to say, okay, authorize. You have to log in. I think I have a MailChimp account. Let's see. Oh, I have Aubrey's. Even better. Don't tell him. You just have to sign in, give the permissions. It's going to authorize it. Okay. Okay, this is the screen I want to get to. Whew. I was a little worried you're just going to do it for me. All right. So this is the really complicated thing here. If you decide to go this way with PieSync, it will save you a lot of time, but it also may create a lot of headaches for you. The first thing that I would do if you're going to use PieSync is set up where you're pulling them from, and make sure when you're on this screen that you got to, set up the transfer to be one way. I wanted it to go from MailChimp into Command. The default was both ways, so that all of my Command contacts would go to MailChimp, and MailChimp would go, and it would be a happy, like, blunderous whirlpool of contacts. I want to, like, end MailChimp, so I want to take this MailChimp arrow and point it directly at Command. I don't want it to be a two-way transfer, just a one-way transfer. Does that make sense? Now, if you are exiting Keller Williams or decided that Command's not for you, you could use this one-way button to go from Command over to MailChimp. You can dump all of your contacts that way, or at least sync them that way. But I'd recommend if you're going to do it one way from MailChimp or whatever company you're using, push it into Command. Don't do two-way because that gets really, really messy. It also creates a lot of duplicate contacts when you do it that way. And then from there, you come through and then you just pick your titles. So it says like first name in MailChimp goes to the first name here. Last name goes here, here, email, email. If you have a really robust one that says like work address, home address, things like that, you have to go through each of these categories. I'm guessing that all that Aubrey has in MailChimp is first, last name, and email. But like it would say like, if there was a telephone number, it would make you map it if it's a cell phone or a work number, things like that. But you can check those on and off and rename them. But I don't recommend this. You know, it's a time saver, but it could create a lot more problems for you. What I do recommend, and I hate to do this to all of you, the good old manual way. And to do that, I mean, going into MailChimp or going into Boomtown, going into Commissions Inc., and downloading that same file. Download that giant Excel file with all of the good data, save that on your computer. It's good data hygiene practice. It's like putting on data deodorant to have your own copy of your data that you own, not hosted somewhere else. Always good to have that. I would do that probably monthly just to make sure that you have an updated version of it. Now, in Command, there's a good way to take that data that you have and to put it into Command in bulk. So you're gonna click on Contacts. You're gonna click the Import button over here. And since y'all are in the room, when you click the Import button, does anybody have a drop down yet that says Export on theirs? That's coming out this week. Some people have it, some people don't. Let me take that back. Most people don't, some people have it. Okay, still just import for everyone. All right. But when I click the import button, this is where I want to take that large file from Commissions Inc. or wherever, and I want to put it in Command so it all works out. Now, unfortunately, there is a step between that requires a lot of time and effort, and I encourage you to now take that time and effort. When you click on this import button, the first word here says download. Download the pre-made CSV. I wish this was more obvious. It's really not, but the download button is a link to give you the command-friendly version of the way your data needs to be entered into Command. Let me give this a second to load here. Sorry, I got a new computer and apparently Numbers was not downloaded on my screen. Oh boy, okay, gosh. All right. Those things that I tried to download earlier that weren't working are all there now. Okay, so y'all can still see my screen? The head nod? Okay. So when I click that download button, this gives me the command-friendly template. So I want to download my Excel file from, I'm just gonna say Commissions Inc. for ease, from Sync, and I want to copy and paste column by column that data from the old one to the new one. So I'm going to go into my Excel file for Commissions Inc., literally grab every first name and copy and paste it in the first name column here. I'm going to take all the last names, copy and paste them into here, and go column by column and column until I have literally no data left to copy over from my old one. Now, when you do this, this should work seamlessly to go into Command. There are a couple of little tricky nuances in here that I'm offering this to everybody. I'm now a master at this. Send me your CSV file before you go to import it into Command. There are a couple of little weird details, especially with the telephone numbers, that they have to be formatted a special way. And for those of you who were on the call earlier, surprise, surprise, it's an 11-digit telephone number that says 1 and then the 10 digits with no special characters. Luckily, I know the formulas and how to get rid of all of that, depending on how yours dumped out originally. But I can reformat that and send it back to you in 2 minutes versus you trying to figure that out on your own. But what you'll do is copy and paste column by column into here and get that into Command. Now, there is tons and tons and tons of columns, more than what you'll probably need or have. Feel free to leave them blank. Just do me a favor, do not delete any of the columns. If you're not going to use suffix, that does not mean delete the column, that means just skip over it. Only fill the data in here that you need to. Don't delete anything from the template. But once your template's good, once you've moved over that nice, good, rich data, you're just gonna come back into command and then finalize, import it in here. Now, again, I'm offering this to everybody. Send me your template. I will get it formatted properly for you and send it right back to you. That way there, you don't get any errors. That is a very, very finicky template that often creates lots of problems. Okay. And then from there, you should have a nice little database here full of people. Is there anyone who's creating a database for the first time?
I just started mine recently, and I actually was able to figure it out based on what you're saying. I think I figured it out, or a lot of it. But I do have a question.
Yeah.
Because I did enter married couples separately because I didn't know how to enter them together, but now you're saying not to do that anyway.
Yeah, separate them. Yep.
You said you could link them. What does it do when you link them? What does that accomplish?
Yeah, so it's really nice is when I link them in command, let's just say that we finally got to the closing table or we're getting a contract together. When I go to create paperwork for them in the system, it pulls them right into the opportunity together.
Oh,
so
okay.
it says, hey, Sam and Chris are on this deal together, or I may not be, but it makes it easier for me to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Thanks.
Yep. And as the consumer, so like a lot of times we talk about like just us and how it makes our lives easier as agents. On the other side, it makes it easier for them too. So when they log into like your app or your website, it'll say like, hey, do you want to add your spouse into the buying process? Do you want to add them as a co-buyer? And they can look at houses together on your app. And it doesn't have to be spouses. Every single relationship you can humanly think of is tied in there, including like stepchildren and things like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Business partners even. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah. Any questions on that so far? Where's yeah. Okay.
I was just going to say, I have a database, but it's definitely not the way it should be. That was one of those things that I was going to be doing during all this that I'm continuing to work on.
Yeah. So for how many of you, what is stronger, the database on your computer or the database on your phone? It's really, really easy to save on your phone, right? You can either give me a nod or raise your hand. How many of you are iPhone users?
I am.
A good bit of you. Fantastic.
I am.
All right. I just in case I run out of time, I have a full-blown video on how to do this, but you can get your iPhone contacts off of your phone really, really quickly and into that Excel file that I've been talking about. So you have to know your iCloud login, like how to get into your phone, but you'll just go to iCloud.com, like logging into Apple. And sometimes it'll ask you to like register or to like save your stuff. Luckily mine's all in here. Yeah, because I'm signing into my computer, it's gonna ask me to like register on my phone. So I got a notification that says like, hey, is it okay to do this? I mark allow, we're good to go. It's gonna give me a code, which is hilarious that it gives me the same code on my computer. Trust and done. But once you sign into iCloud, you can go in and you can see all of your contacts. So I just click on the contacts button and this will show me literally every single contact I have on my phone, which is, it was up to like, I can't remember, but if you, when you're looking at your contacts, instead of scrolling like this, don't do this. Click on this number button down here right below Z. This will drop you all the way down to the bottom. And then you can see very faintly, it says I have 2,139 contacts in my phone, which seems about right. I've had the same phone number since I was 16. And every time I went from Verizon to AT&T to AT&T to T-Mobile to Verizon, they always transfer your contacts for you. So like I've literally had these contacts for the last 16 years in here, 17 years in here. How old am I? So with that being said, there's probably a chance that some of these people are irrelevant. There's definitely some ex-girlfriends in here that are probably labeled, if I looked, as like do not pick up or do not contact. Again, another reason why it's important to go through and clean up your data before you put it into command versus just taking this and throwing it into a new database. But what you'll do once you're on iCloud is click this gear down here in the bottom left-hand corner, click the gear, and then click select all. That'll highlight all 2139 contacts that I have. Now I'm going to click on the gear again and then click the export V card. Okay. So when I export V card is just the fancy way of saying like, this is the file version or the way like phone contacts are saved. What's unfortunate is like a V card is pretty much useless to me on a computer. I can't really do much with it. So what I have to do is I have this file right here that iCloud gave me, and wrong screen. Oh, no, don't do that. Sorry, I'm getting stuff on my other screen here. But basically, it's just giving me everyone's like V card. Like, I don't know if you've ever sent contacts from like one person to another, like, hey, here's my plumber, whatever. It uses a V card file. What I want to do is I want to actually transfer this file that I just got from Apple into an Excel file. That way there I can actually like manipulate it the way I need to. So I'm going to take this Dante Abadonda person, whoever my first contact is on my phone. That's the name of my file. I'm going to transfer this and turn it into an Excel file. So the way to do this, I just go to Google and I search V card or VCF to CSV converter. So I'm taking this weird Apple file and converting it into a CSV, which is another fancy way of saying Excel file. So VCF to CSV converter. Now, if you're taking notes, the one that I've used and the one that I know is safe to use, because when you do free things online, you can run into traps. I use this one. It's the fourth one here for me today, but it's the one from tribulant.com or tribulant.com. Not sure how you say that, but I use this one here, vcard to CSV converter. Okay. And then all I have to do now is just like upload my image. It's going to like, you know, reconfigure it and send it back to me. So where it says vcard file, I'm going to click choose file. I'm going to use the one that I just downloaded from iCloud, which is named after your first contact, which for me is Dante Abundanza. No idea who that is. Click open. Now this is important for this particular website. I have to play around with these settings. So the format I need is a CSV. That stands for comma separated values, just in case you really wanted to know. CSV, and then I need to change tab to comma. And the last thing I need to do is check off this box that says vcards with email only. So if you want to take a screenshot of my settings, feel free to. But you want to upload your file, change it from CSV, and then make sure that this next one says comma. And then it's really important that you uncheck this box that says vcards with email only. Because if you don't have an email in your iCloud, it's not going to pull those people over. Any questions on this before I click the convert button? No? Okay. So now when I click convert, and no one, please don't go stealing my contacts here. Sorry, I did it on another screen. I'm going to pull it over my other screen here. It gave me this. So it gave me literally all of my phone contacts. If I scroll all the way down, it should be, what, 2139? Is that what it is? I hope I'm not making y'all sick. Sorry about that. 2139. Yep, 2139 contacts. Those are all of my phone contacts. Now you can see that like I had things like the radio station, some random email address, Route 19 bowling alley in my phone for whatever reason, probably from when I was 16 and, you know, RSVPing for a birthday or something. Your goal now is to go through here and clean them up. So for me, what I like to do, I don't know, I've done this. It takes me about a week to go through all of it. I went through and just deleted random people. So I had 2 Salicardis. So what I did is just clicked on that row, and then on my computer, I clicked delete, and that's now gone. Now, I deleted the content. That's a big mistake. What I want to do is right click here and just delete the whole row. That way they don't have that blank row in there anymore. And then the same thing, I want to get rid of these businesses. So Accutrex was literally the place I worked at Summers whenever I was in college break. So I'm just going to delete these rows. That's a business that I'm never going to call. So I'm going to delete the selected rows. And I'm just gonna go through this. What's really, really nice and why I recommend spending time in Excel to clean this up before you do it in Command is that it's really easy for me as my eye is looking through an Excel sheet. I can see that I have 1, 2, 3, 4 people with the last name of Ackerman. Now that jumps out to me because I'm seeing Ackerman 4 times in a row. It's yelling at me. I only see one that's a duplicate, so I have to delete that. Where like if I go into Command, I have to look through 4 people and then figure out which one has the most content, like which mark I need to delete. It's easier here that I can just say like, okay, well, both of these Mark Ackermans have literally nothing other than their address. I can delete one of them and go from there. So I'm just gonna delete the one Mark, delete the entire row. And now all of my Ackermans are fine. James, Mark, and Ken are all legitimate people that pulled into Command, no problem. This can take some time. One of the things that I'd highly recommend doing is saving this to your computer, get as far as you absolutely can before you go nuts. And then what I do to save my progress is I'll just pick a row where I plan to leave off, and then I will add a border. And this depends on like whether you're using Excel, spreadsheets, or numbers, whatever. But I'll just make a really big, bold outline on outside of these people, or I'll just take this entire row and like mark them as like red as a font color. That work that way? I don't really ever use numbers within Apple. Here's what I'm looking for. The borders, I'll make the border, I'll make it black, and then I'll make my border color like hot red or something. And click off of there, and that should work that way. That's really, really faint, but you can see how this one's now red behind Christine Albanez. I would know like that was my stopping point, and then the next day I'll just pick up with Amanda Barbano. And then once I'm done cleaning all of these up, then I'll put them into Command. Now, here's the thing. I like to clean it up from like my original file. So like I'll pull it from iCloud and I'll clean it up here. And then once I'm done cleaning up everybody, then I'll copy and paste it back over to here. One of the things that you do not want to do is do this halfway. So if I'm going through and adding all of my first names, copying and pasting them, and then I realize, well, shoot, I don't want to move this person over, and then I delete one person. What's going to happen is that all of your rows are going to shift off by 1 contact or 2 contacts. Just either clean them all up at once and then transfer them, or transfer all of them, then clean them up. But you don't want to do anything halfway through that transfer, because like all of your rows will get shifted by 1, and then all of the data will be off per person. That's a really hard thing to stay disciplined with. I've made that mistake a couple of times. I lost a day full of cleaning up data. I just recommend get this completely clean, get to your last contact, and go from there. Here's the last little tip and trick that I would share too. So Denise and Floyd, where are they? I saw them in here. Denise and Floyd. Okay, so Chuck and Julie, Denise and Floyd. Denise and Floyd are like my childhood like neighbors. They grew up on the same street as me. All I have is their home phone number from my cell phone, right? What I want to do is separate these out like I've been saying. The only problem is I only have 1 telephone number. I have just their house number. I don't have Denise's cell phone. I don't have Floyd's cell phone. So I have to make a decision on who I'm going to keep in my database, because Command doesn't look at the names. It looks at the emails and it looks at the telephone numbers. And if it sees that if I were to create Floyd here and then get rid of this part, and then change their last names to Moore. Oops. So Denise and Moore are technically Denise and Floyd Moore. Now, the only problem is that now I have 2 contacts and only 1 telephone number. So whenever I go to import this into Command, Denise will go through, but Floyd will not, because he was second on the list, and that telephone number is already being used for another contact. So be careful that like if you've done that spouse conjoining thing before, that you have 2 separate telephone numbers or 2 separate emails for them. And it's okay to have blank telephone numbers and blank email addresses if you don't have them for both people. But sometimes you may just have to make the decision that, all right, I'm going to get rid of Floyd. He's just not going to make my database. And then later I can add him into notes or whatever. But you're going to get a lot of like contact failed to import because information was already being used, that's why, because that number was taken. But that's how you'd separate them out. And let's just say that you did have, you know, 2 numbers for that person. Just like I did, I would just get rid of the first name here, change that to Julie, and then like copy and paste the right number there for that person, yada, 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 go from there. But clean it up, it's gonna be important. And then not everybody's going to make your database. So for example, I have this, this number here that is do not answer with an old Pittsburgh number, probably an ex-girlfriend. So just go right click, delete row. There's going to be some people that you never call again. It's okay that they don't go in your command. It would be really awkward if you sent them information about their local real estate statistics. It's not about the number, it's about the opportunity. Okay, don't worry that I no longer have 2139, I have 2138 opportunities because that was never a shot to begin with. So you're going to go through, also delete some of the businesses, make sure the information's correct. So even here with like Ashley Snedden, in her phone, I put Ashley Snedden as her first name. I didn't do that because I just did it quickly. I want to move Snedden to her last name. Just clean up this data. It's worth the time to do that because then the system will work the way you need it to. And as I kind of mentioned, it's way easier to see little common mistakes like that in Excel versus trying to correct that in Command. Cool? All right. Any questions? Was this helpful today? All right. Now, I know that you're going to be challenged with Bold. We will be doing a review on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays with the technology we learned with Bold. So all of my classes will be technology-based, but we'll be having much more deeper conversations around what we learned in Bold and how that can help you with your business as well. So today was hopefully, I don't know, because I don't know what the Bold Pivot program is going to look like, but hopefully enough to get you ready for Bold this week, starting tomorrow. And then if not, we'll review and pivot on Wednesday from 2 to 3. Cool.
Dan,
Yes.
thank you. This is fabulous.
Awesome. Glad to hear that, Marion.
If we've already set up Command and yet we've got many more contacts in the phone, what would happen if I transfer, do all this cleanup and then add these contacts to Command?
Yeah, great question. So if you have an existing contact in Command and you try to import them, it will not work because, again, it's not looking at their name. It's looking at their telephone number. So as long as that telephone number matches somebody in Command, it just won't import them. It'll say, you know, contact information already exists. So it should not, would not create duplicate contacts for you.
Okay.
Here's another piece of advice that I would share with you. One of the things that you can do on this command-friendly import is column AU, which is all the way down here on the right, is for custom tags. One of the things that I'd always recommend doing is when you're making a mass import is to name your tag or to name your import. So for this one, I would say like phone import and then comma space. That way there, whenever I go to import my database, every single person would have this tag that says phone import. That way there, I knew where they came from. And I'm saying this from experience because I've now wiped my database 7 times and I make mistakes and I learn. So like in Marianne's situation in which she has a database already, she goes to add to it. Let's just say that everything looks like it worked fine. She's operating in Command for like a week or so. And then she realized, oh shoot, something's wrong with my phone import, or specifically the people from my phone import. If you have this tag, I can go through and pull everyone that has the phone import tag and just delete them and then re-upload. Where if I didn't have this like unique identifier that says this was a phone import, she may have doubled the size of her database and doesn't know who was a phone import, who was already existing. And she'd have no way to figure out where the mistakes were or how to correct them. So she'd have to wipe her whole database. But if you tag every import, it makes it easier to delete them if you made some type of mistake. I got a head scratch and a yes. I'm not sure if that was received. Do I need to go into more detail on that one?
Thank you.
Okay. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
That's a brilliant reminder about tags.
Yeah. And again, I'm not, there's very little chance that I'm going to use this tag that says like, I'm going to pull up the phone import and send everybody a happy birthday email or something random, but it's more of like a cover my rear end type of tag that I'm not going to use to reach out to them. It's going to be more so to just structure and organize my database. Cover your butt. Cool. Yeah, any other questions? And thanks for your patience. I definitely went way over. All right. If you need more training on this as well, I do have how-to videos for every single like little nugget that we talked about today. I have a YouTube channel called In Command with Sam. So if you go to incommandwithsam.com, that'll take you directly to my YouTube channel. Smaller pieces, smaller chunks, usually videos are somewhere between like 5 to 10 minutes of things like this. I do have an older one that is uploading your iPhone contacts. So if you didn't get that Tribulant website or those little details on what to do there, look up that video and I'll walk you through step by step, and you can pause me and do that task as you need to. And then if you can, subscribe or just randomly like a video, because that helps me like actually rank within YouTube. Because my name is Sam Jackson, it's pretty much impossible to find somebody named after a celebrity or named like a celebrity. So that helps me get recognized a little bit easier within like the algorithm of YouTube. Cool. And I'll stick around for questions for those of you who have them. But thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I do have questions.
Yes.
Thank you, Sam.
Good, Marianne.
Let somebody else go first.
Okay. Anyone else have a question?
I had a question. Did I hear you say you were going to be talking about the app today?
Yeah, I ran out of
Can
time on that
find
one. Yeah,
Okay,
I ran out of
so
time
I
on that
can
one.
just,
I can demo that for sure. Let me get real quick. Pull up command. So yeah,
was waiting around.
command. So if you go into command, find your app. If you click on the consumer tab, which is this very last tool here on the bottom left.
Oh, wait, let me get back home. Oh, let me get home. Come on. Why is it not doing? Hold on. It's taking a minute now.
You're okay.
The consumer. Okay.
So click on the consumer tab down here in the bottom left. It's the last active icon. There's one more below that, but you can't click on it. Click on consumer. And then in the top right-hand corner, click on Site and App Settings.
Okay.
And then one more click. We're going to go to URLs, which is kind of like dead center, off a little bit to the left. URLs. And this will take you to your unique app URL. Now, what's great about this is that when I copy and paste this,
I'm not seeing that. What URL?
Yeah,
Let
URLs.
me see on yours. Like, oh, what, the things in the middle?
Yeah, did you click on the URL tab right here?
Oh, there you go. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, no, sorry. URLs. Come on. Okay.
I love the white B-board on your ceiling, by the way. I love that look.
Oh, sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I was impeding on your personal space. I like that. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I'm there.
All right, so you click on URLs. Your app link is this one right here. So it should say app.kw.com, KWB, and then something unique. So mine is this XK78X. That's unique to me. So every time I share this, it gets branded to me. Yours should be something different. But then you can copy this and just promote it on Facebook or email it to your database, whatever.
Okay. All right.
But that'd be branded specifically to you.
Actually, I use that in my signature of, use my mobile app kind of thing.
Yep. Marianne, I'll challenge you on that one. I would recommend, this is my true and tried recommendation, come from contribution with that. So offer something that like people want to click on. There's a lot of real estate apps now that if you say like download my app, people aren't going to do it. I think you'll have a better return if you say something like take a look at the upcoming open houses this weekend, or see how much your home is worth, or find out how much you can afford with today's interest rates, because all of those tools are built into the app. Promote a tool, you'll get more downloads versus just saying, hey, here's my app, because there's a good chance they already have the Zillow app. We need to get a reason why they need to stop using that one.
Got it. Okay.
Great.
Because if one of your friends who owns a small business on Facebook said, download my app, you're probably not going to do it because it's not enticing enough. You have to give them a reason.
Yep.
a good one.
All right. Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
PW support just got to me, so I'm signing off. Thank you.
Yeah, go get that. Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, thanks everybody.
Sam. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have another question? No? Did you have a question or no? You're good. Okay. See ya.